Hi, fourth graders. This is ELA Buzz 23 and 25. Let's begin. Okay, add commas to make the sentence correct. Common recyclable materials include glass, paper, metals like tin, and certain plastics. So this one is, again, kind of a list. Common recyclable materials include glass, comma, paper, comma, metals like tin, comma. Some of you may have wanted to put one metals, comma. This is all like goes together. Metals like tin and certain plastics. Okay. Next one, rewrite the sentence correctly. Greasy pizza boxes aren't recyclable. There are 3 errors. Greasy is fine, pizza is fine, boxes is not. Boxes is B-O-X, box is, yes. Aren't is are not, and the contraction for it is aren't, like this. So the apostrophe takes the place of the O. So aren't. Boxes aren't recyclable. Recyclable. Nope, I'm right. Recyclable. Able to recycle. Able to be recycled. Recyclable. See? Do you see how it pops up? RECYCLABLE. So I did get it right. Okay, moving on. And then you just rewrite it. Greasy pizza boxes aren't recyclable. So greasy pizza boxes aren't recyclable. Okay, I'm running low on time, so I don't have time to write it all up for you. Use your vocabulary knowledge to draw a line that matches each word part to its correct meaning. Re means again. And cycle, we learned that in ELA, means circle. Cycle, circle. So again, re means again, and cycle means circle. Okay? So like a bicycle, tricycle, unicycle. Repeat, reuse, renew means new again, use again, that sort of thing. Circle the synonym for the bold word. Recycling is one way you can help reduce waste. Reduce means lessen. Lessen, meaning less. Reduce means to lessen. Okay, this next one, say what part of speech the bold word is. Then say the part of speech of the word that it is describing. So this is going to be a little tricky as we're still getting used to all of the words. So instead of just answering these 2 questions, I want to break down the sentence a little bit. So we're going to start with recycling. Recycling is a very important step to helping the planet. We're going to start with what's the subject. The subject is recycling. This is the subject of the sentence. It's who or what is doing something. So subject, and then in this case, it's not who, it's a what. Recycling, what are they doing? And that is the verb. This is called a state of being verb or a linking verb. There's action verbs like jump, swim, those kinds of things. And then there's linking or state of being verbs. So linking or state of being. We did a couple of those. Is, MR, was, were, be, been, being. Those are the state of being verbs. So subject, verb, and then the noun. Recycling is what? Recycling is, it's a step. So this is a noun. Now we have to say, it says, say what part of speech the bold word is. Well, there's other ones we've talked about adjectives, and we've talked a little bit about adverbs. An adjective describes a noun, and an adverb describes an adjective. So the adjective describes the noun. Recycling is, and then, A is called an article. An article is just a special kind of adjective that introduces a noun. There's a, an, and the. Articles are a, an, and the. So recycling is a very important step. Recycling is a step. What kind of step is it? It's an important step. Important step would be an adjective. This is an adjective because it's a describing word. It describes a noun. But then the bold word right here, very, very describes what? It describes important. That means very is an adverb. Adverbs describe adjectives. And then if you want to learn something else, we'll learn it. We'll learn it in a few weeks, actually. There's one more part to this. If I can get a different color going here. Come on. There you go. There's one more part of this right here. To helping the planet. This is called a prepositional phrase. We will be doing these coming in the next module. Prepositional phrases usually just tell more about something. They give more information. Oftentimes we use them to show location, but they can also just be extra information that technically the sentence works without. So we could say recycling is a very important step, period. But in this case, recycling is a very important step to what? To helping the planet. It tells more. You don't need it, so you could technically put in quotation or in parentheses, and you don't actually need it, but it helps teach more about or explain more about a sentence. Okay, so going back to this, so it's adverb. Part of speech of the bold word is an adverb, and the part of speech it is describing is an adjective. Adverbs describe adjectives. Adjective. All right. So I know I gave you a lot to think about, but I'm trying to teach you the different parts of a sentence. Okay, this next one is a little different. I'm going to start including more of these. It's a reading comprehension passage. I haven't included them yet this year, but I'm going to now. This one is a passage you have to read, and then there's a few questions. George Washington Carver was born around 1864. No one knows the exact year or date for sure because he was born enslaved. Enslaved, meaning he was a slave. However, that didn't stop Carver from becoming one of the greatest minds of the early 1900s. You can think of this as like big brain. He went to school and became a scientist. Although it's not true that he invented peanut butter, some people think he did do many experiments with peanuts. Many of them were to help farmers. For example, growing things like cotton over and over again leaves soil without many nutrients. Nutrients are what helps things grow. He found ways to use peanuts to help soil hold on to and even restore its nutrients. Okay, so let's answer some questions. What genre? Genre is another word for type. What type of writing is this? Is this a tall tale, a biography, or fiction? A tall tale is a piece of fiction that is like unrealistic. It's like Johnny Appleseed. He's this giant guy, right? Or he's got this blue donkey, ox, whatever. You know, it's something that makes no sense. It's a little bit of fantasy. So that is not it. A biography. Biography is a piece of writing that tells about someone's life. In this case, George Washington Carver, famous guy, it is a biography. And fiction is, you know, we call it like fake, but it just means it's not real. It's not real. Okay, what was the author's purpose? Author's purpose. So like, what was the reason why they wrote this? To teach a short history about someone, to tell an entertaining story about someone, to teach how to help farmers. Now, some people might say, oh, it's an entertaining story. It's interesting. Okay, this one really wasn't a story though. Like it's not like it was meant to like make it entertaining. It's a history about them. This one was meant to teach you about his history and what he did. Was it to teach you how to help farmers? No. It just said that George Washington Carver did help farmers. That is not what you were supposed to do, though, or what you were supposed to learn. So it's to teach a short history about someone. Okay. And then it says use context. Context is another word for background information. Background info, things you already know. To give a definition to find out what it means for restore. So what we do is we go back into the text and we look for the word restore. And let's say you didn't have an iPad to go search up the word restore. How would you figure out what restore means? You can use context clues to look after and before the word to try and figure out what it might mean. So let's look at this again. Many of them were to help farmers, so these experiments. For example, growing things like cotton over and over again leaves soil without many nutrients. So when farmers would grow cotton, the soil didn't have many nutrients that it needed to grow. Nutrients are what helps things grow. He found ways to use peanuts to help soil hold on to what? Hold on to nutrients and even restore its nutrients. So peanuts don't get rid of the nutrients in the soil. They actually, it looks like it says hold on to and even restore. So they don't just help hold on to the nutrients, they restore. It's almost like restore, store again. If we look at the word restore, store meaning like to keep almost, and means again, to keep it again or bring back again. So to bring back or give back. To bring back or give back. So it gives nutrients back to the soil that we're missing, that were gone. Okay, this one. Oh, look, article. I kind of showed you what an article was. Yeah, there are 3 articles, a, an, and the. And they just kind of let you know that, I am so sorry. They introduce a noun. Okay, so an article introduces a noun. It lets you know that one's coming. George Washington Carver was blank scientist who helped farmers. Was a scientist, was an scientist, was the scientist. So was he the only scientist who helped farmers? No, he was not the only one. So that one is out. Was an scientist? No. So there's an actual trick for this. For an, the next word needs to start with a vowel to use the word an. So this is a consonant. It's not a vowel, so you wouldn't use an. So like an egg. Egg, E is a vowel. And ice cream. Cone, something like that. You use an with anything that has a vowel starting the next one. So it's not an, it's a. George Washington Carver was a scientist who helped farmers. And circle the synonym for invented. Invented. Which word means invented? Is it located, created, enjoyed, or noticed? Located, that means to like look. That doesn't mean invented. Enjoy means like to like something. That doesn't have anything to do with inventing something. Create, yeah, create, invent, that makes sense. Notice, to look at something, so created. Rewrite the title below using the correct capitalization for a book title. Carver, A Life of Science. Well, right away, Carver is his name. Names are capitalized. Carver. This is a colon. Usually says a colon, it acts kind of like a period or prepares for a list, but it can also be a title. A Life of Science. You would start a life of is lowercase science. We talked about this in class, that titles, capital, but the words like of or the, unless they're at the beginning, and an and unless again they're at the beginning, are lowercase. Which word is correctly divided into syllables? Nutrients. 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 So it's this one. Nutrients. All right. Thanks, guys.